Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 54 Bust, and today we got a special episode. I got some special guests coming in today. We got Brian Skaife from Angling Anarchy. We got Matt Vavroch from Matt Vavroch Fishing on YouTube. I got Sam Dadson from Dadson Blade Baits. I got Cal Ritchie from Cal Ritchie's Guide Service up on Eagle Lake, and I got my good buddy Kevin Wegner. They're going to weigh in on this topic, and today's topic is: would you rather take a shot at a 50-inch fish with no guarantees of seeing a fish or getting a fish, just you're going out to catch a big fish, or would you rather trade that on a day where you're going to get 3 40 class fish, and I'm talking anywhere from 40 up to 49 3/4? What say you? This is such an interesting topic. It's a question that comes up all over the place, all kinds of forums. Almost every client that you get out when you're guiding, if you're a guide, is going to ask you, what are we going for today? Are we going for a big fish? Or are we going for numbers? And you could break it right down to, do you target those huge fish? Are you going after numbers? And I asked this question on the YouTube community tab, and I kind of broke it down. Would you take a chance at a 50 with no guarantees, or would you give that up and catch 3 40-inch fish? And then I also asked another question: how many days of 40-inch fish would you give up just to catch 150? So the results were actually closer than I thought they were going to be. And looking down at it, as of today, it says 36% of people would take a multiple fish day of 40-inch class fish, and 42% would take a shot at a 50, and then 22 would give up many days of 40-inch fish for 150. So that's interesting, because I think a lot of people that have never caught a fish would gladly take a multi-day 40-inch class fish. But when you start getting into muskie hunters that fish for these fish religiously and have caught quite a few, then the allure of big fish always kind of outweigh the numbers. And I also asked this question on a Facebook group that I'm part of, Muskies Anonymous, and on there, the answers were skewed definitely more towards going after one big fish, because that's a muskie-only club, and I kind of expected that. But at the same time, I think some people are lying to themselves when they would say they would gladly give up a bunch of days to just take a shot at a 50, because let's face it, a bunch of days on the water with no fish, you're going to be happy to catch any fish, and if you could catch 3 40-inch class fish, that's going to be a great day on the water. So there's a couple things I want to touch on here. I'm not sure we're going to answer this question exactly, but I'll give you my perspective on it, and I'll give you my wife's perspective, because I catch a lot of muskies. I'm very fortunate. We live right in the heart of Sunset Country. We have all the major muskie lakes in northwestern Ontario are with a half-hour or an hour drive of where I live. So we're on the water a lot, and personally, I probably catch over 50 muskies a year. So I'm very lucky that we have many days where we get multiple fish days, and I'm fortunate enough to catch some big fish. But that being said, I'm not a big fish specialist. I don't go out only looking to target big fish. But that being said, there's times when we go out and we know that it's just not going to be a numbers day. We're not going after small fish. For example, if we're fishing the west arm of Eagle, you know that it's a low percentage area, but those fish are big on there. So when you go down to the west arm of Eagle, you're taking a shot at a big fish, and that's kind of your mindset. And if I kind of take that towards my wife's caught a number of really big fish, but she's never broke that 50 mark. So for her, she wants to take a shot at a big fish, and she honestly just doesn't care to catch 40-inch fish anymore. And that's not being that she doesn't enjoy it, because she will take it, because you can never guarantee what's going to hit your line. But given a choice, she wants to go to water where she's going to get a shot at a big fish. All right, for me, I thought this was going to be super easy to answer. I thought it was just going to be, I always like going for multiple fish days, because you get a lot of action, get a lot of content for YouTube, and just because I enjoy fishing, I just think it's fun to go out and catch fish. But I also know that when you get a big fish, it's something special, and those are days that you definitely remember, sometimes more than multi-fish days. And we've had some great multi-fish days where we've caught anywhere from 3 fish up to 8 fish, 9 fish, and those days are amazing. We have an awesome time doing it, and sometimes I think that those days always outweigh catching one big fish. But when I went back and I looked at some of our video, I was a little bit surprised. And the video that I pulled out was from this past summer, and I got 3 fish on Parrot and Cedar, where you do have a shot at a big fish out there because there are 50 plus. So we started the day, it was slow. I got a 47.5, which is a great fish. And my memory of it was I was pretty excited, but looking back on the video, I think we were more relieved that we got something in the morning than I was happy. And then later on the day, I got a great big 43.5, which was really fat. It was a neat fish. It was a special fish because it was so heavy and big for its size. And then we finished the day with a 41. But looking back on the video now, it's different than what my memory was of that day in the moment. In the moment, it was a pretty happy day. We kind of accomplished something, but looking back at the video, we weren't very excited, and I don't really understand why it comes across that way.
Easy, girl.
47.5.
Yep. Tail. More. There you go.
All right, so that's, at least we got something to show for the morning.
Okay.
Got a few picks. We're gonna get her back in. Just relax there, sweetheart.
43.5.
43.5.
Bud, look at that belly on that thing.
That's a thick fish.
Perfect. Splash that puppy.
There she goes. Oh, she's in.
Oh, or just do that.
I got the hat trick today. Dave's got all the pike. And again, just annihilated this thing at the side of the boat. That fish almost jumped in the boat, eh, Dave? Like literally hit the windshield.
It's concussed.
This one now is out of commission for the night. We had to cut some barbs, but we'll take it. A little bit smaller, but still a decent fish.
I bet you it goes same as the last one, just not as thick.
Yeah, it's like a 41-ish or something. Not bad for a hat trick anyway, we'll take it.
Nate, splash it.
You good there, bud? There you go. Come back when you grow up next time. Okay guys, in this next clip, this is in stark contrast to the 3 fish day, because here we get 1 fish. We see 1 fish all weekend. I got some shaky cell phone footage of the fish in the bag, and my brother-in-law Richard's taking video, Dave's taking some pictures, and I'm getting the fish out of the bag, and you can just hear the excitement in our voices. And this just shows how special a big fish is, and it makes me wonder why we don't get more excited when we get those multi-fish days. But there's just something special about getting a big fish. I'm gonna run this clip right now, and you guys will just see how it is that we reacted in the boat to a big fish.
Oh, nice. Oh, 51, Glenn. Little over 51. 51.25. Oh, too close. Tail up to me. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. I don't know if I got some video of the whole thing, but
Let go of the net, Rich. He didn't go nowhere.
nope.
Not good.
Thanks, bud.
New PB.
Nice. Yeah.
It worked out.
Woo.
So I honestly didn't expect there to be such a big difference between a multi-fish day and a single big fish. But I think looking back at it now, yeah, I'm probably going to go after a big fish when the opportunity's there. We do like doing numbers days too, and those are fun and you can get some content. And one thing on that is you need to really get good at catching fish before you can just give up chances at fish to just go after one big one. So if you haven't caught a lot of fish, then I just don't think it's fair to you or the fish to just be trying to target one big fish. And that's why I think a lot of musky anglers that have had a lot of time on the water and a lot of success will err on that side of I'm going after big fish. And I think that's a fair assessment. The more fish you catch, the more that you're going to want to go after that one big fish. So I asked some of my buddies this same question, and we're going to start with my buddy Brian Skaife from Angling Anarchy. And I fished with Brian last summer. We had a really good time. We're probably going to fish some more in the future. And because we are YouTube content creators, it's a bit of a juggling match. It's like you want to get fish for content, but you also want to get a big fish. And I think his answer kind of sums it up pretty good. And I think I can kind of echo his comments. So let's go check out Brian Skaife from Angling Anarchy.
Given the choice between a 50-inch fish day and a multiple 40-inch fish day is a tough question for me, because the big fish hunter in me wants to say go for the 50, but the filmer content creator in me says 340 plus inch fish on film would be pretty awesome. But that being said, I am going to have to go with chasing a big 50-inch fish, because not only is it a challenge to get a fish that big in the boat, it is even more of a challenge to get it filmed and have it documented. So I'm going with the one big fish over 50 inches.
Next up is my buddy Kevin Wegner, and he's somebody that I would call a mentor for myself. Not only is he really good friends with Steve Herbeck, he's also good friends with guys like Steve Hiding. He's an industry insider. He's a rep for St. Croix rods, Eagle Claw hooks. He knows the backside of the industry, but he's also a tremendous musky angler, and he's somebody that I call a really close friend. And I think he's got a really cool perspective on it, and it's not just about him, it's about the people that you fish with. So let's check out what Kevin Wegner had to say about this issue.
Glenn, I appreciate you asking me that question, and it really made me think. Would I take a chance at a 50-incher versus a multi-fish day with 40-inch fish? Probably a guaranteed multi-fish day with 40-inch fish. Yeah, I would. But it all depends. There's really four things I think about when that happens. First of all, what mood am I in? How long of a drought have I been in? I have to admit that as much as I think I'm always after that next 50 or 54-inch fish, there's times when I'm pressed. I need to put a fish in the boat, and it just changes the whole attitude of that outing or that trip or whatever it may be. The other thing it depends on is who I'm fishing with. I may want that 50 or 54-inch fish or whatever it may be, but I may be with somebody who just doesn't have that same mentality or drive. And I learned long ago that your trip is guided by the limitations, and limitation sounds negative, but the limitations of who you are fishing with. That's always the lowest common denominator, and you never can push further than that person, and that's okay, but you need to know that going in. The other thing is, what's the purpose of that trip? If the purpose of that trip is to get a 50-inch fish or a 54-inch fish or whatever that may be, yeah, I'm really ready to go for it. But if you went on a numbers trip and you knew you went on a numbers trip, and all of a sudden you want to change and flip the script and go for that bigger fish, that's not always going to work. And the final thing is what am I enduring to catch that fish? Glenn, you've seen some of my pictures. I'm out there in some big snow, big cold, big wind on some big water. If I'm going to endure those kind of conditions, yeah, I'm out there to catch that next pig in the pond, that 50-inch fish, and I will gladly give up those 40-inch days to catch that fish. That's my answer. I hope it works for you. I hope it helps. I think it's independent to each individual person, though. I hope you guys all catch a muskie. Thanks.
All right, so the next person I asked was Samantha Dadson, and she's married to none other than Johnny Dadson of Dadson Blade Baits.
Hey, this is Sam Dadson. Glenn asked me to come on here and answer the question, would I rather have a multi 40-inch fish day or catch one 50-inch class fish? And for me, it would definitely be the 50-inch class fish. I think when you first start out muskie fishing and you catch that 38, that 40-incher, it gives you this just insane rush. Like you feel like there's not a bigger fish in the world and you want to do it more and more. But as you start figuring it out and fishing big fish water and you land those giants, it gives you that feeling again. And for me, I don't have that same feeling for the 40-inch fish anymore. I do go on trips where that's the plan, that's the goal, to work on your figure 8 game and catch 40-inch, 45-inch fish, and it's fun and it's amazing, but I do it for the emotion of it. When I catch a 50 to a 55 and hopefully above someday, it's very overwhelming. The shakes that you get, I've cried when I've met goals just this past season. I do it for the feeling, I do it for the hunt. For me, it's like deer hunting. I'm gonna pass on a spike to shoot a 12 point. You put in all this time and effort, and when you're rewarded with an absolute monster, there's nothing more that you want in the world, and you would do it over anything else.
Okay, so here I asked my buddy Matt Vavroch from Matt Vavroch Fishing on YouTube, and because he's a YouTube creator and where he lives, they don't have a lot of big fish. So I kind of asked him, I said, Matt, if you were going on a destination fishing trip, what would you choose? Would you choose to go target big fish, or would you choose to target numbers? And I like his answer. I think it's very honest, and I think that a lot of us deep down inside kind of side with his answer. So let's go check out Matt's answer right here.
All right, so Glenn asked me to answer a question about destination muskies. So the question was, would you take a shot at one 50-inch fish or greater, just a shot, no guarantee, or would you rather catch multiple 40-inch fish on a destination adventure? So for me, this one is fairly easy to answer. I don't get the opportunity to travel a lot. I work on a teacher's salary, which is not as much as it could be, and the budget is pretty limited. So as a result of those things, I don't get to take many destination trips. So if I'm going to take a destination trip, normally I'm going with family or friends, and I would really like people to catch fish, myself included. So if fish is the guarantee, I'll take the guaranteed fish. Hope that helps, Glenn. I'm probably going to be in the minority on this one.
Last but not least, I asked Cal Ritchie. He's a famous Eagle Lake guide, Cal Ritchie's guide service up here, and he's known for catching big fish. He's put some legals in his boat with his clients. He catches a lot of 50 plus, and he also gets a lot of numbers on Eagle Lake. And his answer, again, it's not totally unexpected, but I just like his honesty here, and I like the fact that he's almost okay either way. So let's go check out Cal Ritchie's answer right here, and we'll kind of sum it up afterwards.
Great question. I get asked that quite often. Well, catching any muskie is amazing and a lot of fun, and having multiple 40-inch fish days is tremendous, and it makes it an amazing day on the water. But being able to fish every day like I get to, and being on a body of water that has a lot of 50-inch plus fish in it, there's nothing more exciting for me than waiting for that one chance at a 50-inch plus fish is just so exciting, it's so amazing and fun to catch. And that 50-inch number is the goal in the muskie world these days to catch. And a 50-inch plus fish is hands down well worth waiting for than catching multiple 40 fish in a day, for me personally.
Listening to their answers, I'm not really surprised. I think the muskie angler in all of us wants to go for that big fish. But I do think Matt has some really good comments out of that if you're going on a trip and you're going with friends and family and the goal is to catch fish, then you're going to take a multi-fish day any day. And we do that when we go fishing locally here too. We'll take a multi-fish day a lot of times. But there's also times when we're going for that home run, that we're going to go after a big fish. And I think going forward in the future, we're going to do more of that, where we're going to just target big fish. And you know that a lot of times you're going to come home with a skunk. But that's kind of the muskie hunters, the hunter part of it. You're hunting for that big fish, or like Samantha said, you're hunting for that big buck. And I love that analogy, because hunters, we pass up a lot of small deer or small moose or whatever it is that you're hunting for in order to get that trophy. And when you're fishing for muskie, that 50-inch size is a benchmark and you want to get over it. So any time you have a chance to go after one, I think you need to. But for us, again, just to kind of wrap it all right back up, even though at the beginning we didn't seem like we were super excited on a multi-fish day, I love multi-fish days. They're just so much fun. And some days not putting the pressure on about catching a big fish and just going out for the pure enjoyment of fishing. And for us, it's a bit of a stress dump away from work and real life. We can just go get in the boat with friends and family and just have some fun. And it's not always about targeting the biggest fish in the lake. It's just about targeting a muskie and just getting out there and having some fun. So that, you know, I don't know that we answered anything, but I do think that it's interesting how muskie anglers look at both sides. And I think that most guys are just going to say, let's go for a 50. And if you guys like this type of content, check out this video right here. I think it's something that you guys will like. And beyond that, 54 Bust is out of here. We're going to catch you guys out on the water later. And I'm going to leave the last word to none other than Captain Johnny Dadson. See you guys.
Nobody asked for my opinion. But when it comes to 40 and 50 inchers, I'll never know because they'll shake them all.